So this goes out especially to my juniors, those of you going into senior year. You've done at this point all you could in terms of the 4 categories. Maybe you have a little bit left. The main thing now as you enter senior year is crafting your college essay, crafting your personal statement. And this is very important because admission counselors need to look at the essays to determine what are the things you value, what are your activities, etc. The one tip I'd give about essays, first off, start early. Start early. Don't pressure yourself. Start the summer before senior year. A lot of people, I'll say in my grade, were stressing, they were anxious because they put it off to the final hour. I started in July, so I was kicking back and relaxing, by mid-semester because I'd already gotten everything out of the way. And this was especially useful for me in a lot of ways. Also, construct a narrative. You're going to have a lot of essays thrown at you, and you want to be able to look at yourself, reflect on who you are, and look at the theme of your life, the theme of your high school career, and use that theme to construct a narrative throughout your essays. For instance, my theme, my narrative was about helping people to understand each other. So for instance, I talked about as a pianist, I help audiences understand the music of composers. As a teacher, I help people understand their faith. As a civil discourse facilitator, I help people understand each other's political perspective. Then I tied that to my desire to become a physician, to be a doctor, because I want to enter the medicine field in college, and how I want for patients to have a culturally sensitive care for them. So this is an example of a narrative I built, and of course you want to add, the different rhetoric. You want to have a well-written essay. You want your college counselor, your advisor, your parents, your teachers to look it over, and that's the key to being able to build a good essay. And then the final thing, I know it's a little bit not so brief, is interviews. So a lot of people are scared about interviews. This goes out to the seniors, interviews. And especially with the Ivy League, there's a lot of articles I've read about the Harvard interview process, the Harvard, Princeton, Yale, the different ways that they are taking notes on students when they're interviewing them. My advice is that the last thing you want to do is stress. Don't stress at all. Because when you stress, when you enter the interview, the counselor is going to look at you and he's going to think you're self-conscious. He's going to think that you're not confident in yourself. So be authentic, be charismatic, be confident in yourself. And all of that is going to just flow from you. Because if you're confident in who you are, then you'll have the natural attributes of charisma, of leadership, of confidence. That's the first thing. The second thing is prepare for your interview. Being authentic doesn't mean you wing it, right? I spent the weekend before my interview looking over possible questions, looking at different tips, right? Different questions like, why are you applying to Harvard? What do you want to study in Harvard? What are the different professors that you're interested in meeting? Different courses you're interested in taking, etc., etc. And I think that paid off for me because I was able to mention how I'm interested as someone that loves human biology. I'm interested in the CRISPR project that Harvard was involved in. So then my interviewer asked me in depth different questions about CRISPR. Now, if I hadn't prepared, then I would have been, painted into a corner. I wouldn't know how to respond. But because I prepared, I was able to share my knowledge on the subject, my knowledge on the different Harvard professors that are involved with this project. And so I ended up actually gaining a point rather than losing a point. So prepare for your interviews. Go big and go home again. So these are my tips for how to be competitive for Harvard. My final thing is just be disciplined, take advantage of every opportunity. For those of you who are looking at colleges right now, please do not pick one college you want to go to. I made that mistake. I wanted to go to Harvard since maybe middle school, and the month before the letters were sent out was the most torturous month of my life because every hour, every second I was thinking, what if I get in? What if I don't get in? So rather than having that much stress and anxiety, and rather than possibly ruining the rest of your senior year if you don't get in, just say to yourself, I want to get into a top school. And so whether that's Harvard or Stanford or Columbia or Yale or Stanford or Brown, or I live in LA, so UCLA or UC Berkeley, whatever that school is, the universe will take you there. Destiny will play out as it is, and you'll go on your way. So that's my tip. So I hope those of you who've watched have gleaned at least one or two things from this video. Thank you guys very much. Stay safe.